Okay, so at the beginning of August this year, I went down to break ground for the kitchen. And this is David.
Hola.
Say hi, David. David came down in January with us, and now he's here. The biggest thing that we needed to get done was break ground for the kitchen. And the guys are all sleeping out there already. In fact, when we drove up and we came in, Matthew and all the boys come out of the house to greet us. And that was the first time that had happened. Hi, how are you? Hola, ¿y tu nombre?
Me llamo Johnny.
And wow, that was pretty incredible to actually get to Camp Amos and they're already living there. Come out and they're greeting us. During our stay there, we were eating there together, sharing life, and we could just get up from the table and get right back to work. There wasn't like this separation from like going back to our sleeping place and then coming. And finally, for the first time, like this is actually home. This is a place where there's hospitality, and if you sit where the porch is, you look out, you can see, I believe it's west, because the sun sets, and the views are just spectacular. At this point, Enoch and his guys are still coming out and working.
Está bien grande la zanja, ¿verdad?
It's a deep ditch. The first thing we did was we had a backhoe come out and dig the ditches for the kitchen. And then we went ahead and had him fill in all the holes all around the property. We dug these holes for the trees, ordered a lot of dirt brought in, put the mixture of the dirt and the native soil back in these holes. Now it's all settling, just ready to get the trees planted. So we're excited about that. We'll get avocados and citrus and other fruit trees growing and can help provide food for the kids. Pablo, who I've talked about before, he had come down for a couple weeks and he had brought a friend with him named Esli. And she's a young lady who's interested in working with children. Over the weekend, we took them to Lagos de Colon.
Well, we're on our way. As you can see, there's more than one way to sit in these chairs. So today the goal is to go to Lagos. We're going to take Pablo and Esli. They're going to go back home tomorrow, and we're going to go show them around Lagos and get some swimming in.
After that, David and I went back to San Cristobal. We got our pressure tank, submersible pump, all the things we needed. We loaded up, and then another thing happened. We didn't know how we were going to get all this stuff to Las Margaritas. And Leo, he said there was a friend that had a van that we could probably use.
We came earlier to take a van that we're going to use to take supplies, and we couldn't find the key. The owner said the key was with the van or with somebody, and it wasn't. And Leo traced the key out on something, and he went to the key maker and had them made the key based on his trace as a desperate attempt. So we're going to see if this works. I think it will work.
I think it'll work.
Think it'll work? Okay. It worked. Hey, it worked. Start it up. Start it up. All right, start it up. That's the real moment of truth.
The battery is disconnected.
We got the van on, thanks to Leo. We were able to load up the wood burning stove, which is just an incredible godsend. See, there it is right there. Courtesy of Steve and Stacy. It's hard to see, but that was pretty amazing. That is the fact of the day, not the fact of the week. So, thanks to this key right here that was made off of Leo's trace, we were able to use this whole van and haul what we need back to Matt's.
After that, the alternator gave out on the van.
Okay, well now out of the blue, the battery decided to quit working and we can't start the car. So we're stuck here for the second time today, just feeling super frustrated.
And David and I were wondering if we should take the risk of driving all the way to Las Margaritas, and we noticed if we were driving fast, it seemed to be charging. We decided to take the risk, and we used that van the whole time we were there. We even drove the kids to the zoo.
¿Quién está emocionado?
¡Ya!
¿Por qué estás emocionado?
Zoológico.
¿A dónde?
Zoológico.
¿A dónde? No te escucho.
Zoológico.
Todavía no te escucho. ¿A dónde?
Zoológico.
Ah, zoológico. We're going to the zoo today, and that's why these guys are smiling like that. So we're gonna hit the road here. It's not close. We have to go all the way to Tuxtla, which is, well, it's like a 4-hour drive. And it's nearly 8 o'clock. So I guess we'll get there at noon, have a good time, and then come back real late. So see how this goes.
And when I was leaving, I brought the van back to San Cristobal, and it died like 2 miles away from its where it needed to stay. So that was miraculous, that it just ran just the perfect amount of time. We hooked up the pressure tank, and some of the components we got actually didn't seem to go with each other, and so there was a little bit of guesswork there, but David figured it out. And we hooked up that, we washed out the water cistern. Enoch and the guys finished taking out the wooden support from when they made the cover of the cistern. They took all that out, we got in there, we washed it out, and had a big old truck come out, and we put water in there for the first time, and that was amazing.
This is a 10,000 liter. Perfect timing. All this got finished.
Yeah, that's great.
I think you should stand down there and put your shirt out like this, so the first impact of the water doesn't affect the cement floor.
Yeah, well, that was my whole plan with the cloud rock. Was everyone in that video is going to be like, cloud rock? Is that a thing in Mexico?
You stand down there and get the first impact, like the whole chorro.
What an amazing feeling. Another thing we had the backhoe do was he dug us a ditch that went from the house down to the water cistern, and we put in a 4-inch pipe, and that's going to connect up to the roof, and we're going to harvest the water. We don't currently have a source of water other than collecting it from the rain and having it delivered by truck. So we're not sure if eventually we'll have a water connection, or if the local community will finish their well, but for now that's what we got, and we're going with it. One of the funnest moments of while we were there is we'd gotten these major things taken off the list, and we decided, let's put in a water heater. We can do that. And so we went, grabbed a water heater, and David installed it.
So here is the water heater. See that? We got it all hooked up. I spread the things part too far. If you look up inside of there, you kind of see the fire. And I'm gonna go test it for everybody. ¿Quién quiere bañarse con agua caliente?
¡Yo!
¿Te quieres bañar con agua caliente?
¡Sí! ¡Un rato!
¿Qué vas a hacer cuando te bañas?
Tardar mucho.
No.
Eso es. Lo principal. Tardar mucho.
¿Está caliente? Arnulfo, ¿te quieres bañar con agua caliente? Sí. He said he's excited about taking a hot bath.
Yeah.
For the first time, these kids have hot water in the home. Bathing with cold water, let's just say people aren't taking baths as often as they should. So putting the hot water in there instantly, the kids just, it blew their minds. You know, they got in there, they're just as happy as could be, the new water. And then of course now everybody has to have a time limit, otherwise they'll just stay in there forever because it feels good. That was a really rewarding part of the work.
These are kind of basic washing machines. All they do is move the middle. See if I do this. See, that does that. Powerful, powerful machine. And you just do that. And then with the newly installed pump, we have an insane amount of pressure right here to fill that up. The way these things drain is you have this hose, and it just, you stick it right in there, up right there, and then the gray water pipe dumps out right here, and that way we're not filling up the septic system with lots of washing water. Oh yeah, I'll be right there. And so then what this does, this here is a pit that we left here, and we're going to create a filter, and then we'll be able to recycle this gray water.
Other things that we did, we got the tile guy out, talked to him. He went ahead and installed tile in the outside building. It turns out Matthew and Enoch had been working on upgrading what was originally just the shed, the shack that they were cooking in, and they sort of revamped it. They put in some nice vinyl windows in it, and we had the tile guy tile the floors. That's going to be a temporary kitchen that they're going to use until we can finish the main kitchen. Once that's emptied, that will turn into the office and the school space. We're supposed to keep a file on each one of the kids that shows where they came from and what the agreement is, and in their progress. And of course the schoolroom. So another thing that's required is we have to, the kids have to have an education. And so Matthew would like to sort of have an in-house like private school type thing going. So that'll have space for that. Let's see, we spent a lot of time talking about the kitchen setup, what we need there, lots of counter space.
Y luego abajo de la tarja aquí va a ir un bote de basura, aquí va a ir otro bote de basura.
I wanted to thank a couple people specifically. There's a guy down in San Cristobal named David and Rebecca Cepeda. And Kyle and Susie got to know them real well. He is a director and doctor at Esquipulas, which is a hospital for the local Indian community. They've been real encouraging, and a while back he was saying that he was going to try and get some government-sponsored help to us. Unfortunately, with the change of the presidential candidate here recently, that all fell through, and so he felt super bad about it. But I still just really appreciate his encouragement and support. Having somebody local there who has our back is great. Also, I want to thank Rachel Foster, and she's a good friend of ours from Idaho, and she recently had her kids do this thing where they put or their kids would send out a letter to all their friends asking for $1, and that it would all go to buying Legos or something for the kids at the children's home. They did this last year for some kids in Romania, a children's home over there. I think it was Romania, somewhere East Europe. It ended up being great. So they did it this year, and it was just, I mean, to have people kind of do their thing as a support to the camp is so encouraging. You know, feel people get involved. And also want to point out how helpful the Mennonites have been. There's been some groups of Mennonites that have come out and helped Matthew, and more recently there's an organization that they run that agreed to fund the kitchen building, and that is just, we were blown away. We had no idea that they'd be willing to do something like that, and so just a huge thank you to them, and also, you know, once again, thank Mike Richardson for his help, and a special prayer for Mike Richardson. He's had a lot of sickness, and he could really use some prayer there. We also want to pray for Maddie, Enoch's wife, and she's, you know, with that problem she's had, and that they would all be healthy, and also for Enoch, since he's, you know, there, boots on the ground, working. So to have insight and wisdom, and be able to direct the guys as they do the work. Pray for Matthew, as he, you know, as he's there. Also, he's pulled in 100 different directions, you know, from running errands to getting last minute things, and he could really use a, you know, an assistant. And so we're praying for staffing, for people who could come alongside him and be a help. And that's something we'll talk about more in the future. So we appreciate you guys, and we thank you for supporting. Thank you especially for praying for us. And yeah, comment below, ask any questions, and just reach out. Go to the website, campamos.org, and sign up there. We try and send out these newsletters as we're able to. So, appreciate it. Talk to you later.